I tell you what, it sure has been a spicy hot minute since I've looked at my favorite superhero on this channel. Oh man, superhero movies are something else, I tell you. They are by far the most successful and anticipated genre of movie released every year. While I'm by no means a connoisseur of comic books, I am pretty knowledgeable on movies, and it just so happens that comic book movies make up some of my favorite films released of all time. If you've been following my channel for some time now, it's no surprise at all that I love Spider-Man. It took me a while to see Into the Spider-Verse because, you know, pizzas and shit, and boy did I enjoy my time with that movie. I have a video out on it if you want a more detailed look, but overall I stated it was my second favorite Spider-Man movie ever released. And that's because of one movie, ladies and gentlemen, the holy grail of superhero movies, directed masterfully by Sam Raimi, 2004, Spider-Man 2. I've mentioned this film here and there in past videos, but I've been itching for the time where I'd get to rewatch the film, take notes, write a script formulating my thoughts in a cohesive manner, sprinkle in jokes that no one finds funny but me, and broadcast it to you guys. And what better time to continue my look at the Spider-Man series than 7 months after I released my video on Spider-Man 1. Yeah, I'm pretty bad with releasing videos on time, so my apologies, you know, pizzas and shit, but hey, at least my lazy ass is finally getting it done. Spider-Man 2 had everything going for it from the get-go. The ending of Spider-Man 1 set up so much to be fulfilled in the sequel. The cast and crew all returning, the stakes were higher, no origin story to go through. Even more hilarious extras that made me wonder what the hell their audition looked like to land their role.
Whoa! He stole that guy's pizza!
He's so fucking good. Technology was improving with each passing year to the point where this movie won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. It was destined for greatness. Well, so was another movie, but we'll get to that in due time, ladies and gentlemen. Really, the only area where this movie falls short of the first one is box office, which I'll never for the life of me understand why. But that isn't even a factor in the quality of the film. The reception for this movie was fantastic, even Roger Ebert hailing it as the best superhero movie ever made, which might not seem like a big deal considering the onslaught of comic book movies we've gotten since then. We still had movies like Tim Burton's Batman and Richard Donner's Superman, so it's not like there were no good superhero movies. And you know what? Some people would still argue that it's the best superhero movie to date, even with all the new comic book movies released. Look, it's no surprise the direction I'll be going with this video, so I apologize if it comes off as me cherishing the movie as the greatest thing ever made. So I'll balance my emotions by starting out with things I noticed haven't aged the best. Obviously, visual effects won't hold up as well as they did 15 years ago, but some of them felt rather jarring even for that time period. I mean, look at Spider-Man here. I don't think anyone in 2004 thought to themselves, bro, that looks real. I completely understand why they didn't do this, but come on, if shards of glass came hurtling at you at that speed, there would be a pool of blood and a much bigger impact than that. Yeah, there's only so much you can do with a PG-13 rating, but maybe cutting away and not showing us this shot would have left a bigger impact. I got the impression that we should be feeling as an audience member, hell yeah, she's gonna be with Peter, that football playing astronaut. But 20-year-old me just looks at this scene and can't help but think what an asshole she was to ditch him on the wedding day. You really couldn't break it off at any point earlier? Even 30 minutes earlier would have been better than this. Look, they're all expecting her to walk. If you haven't noticed, a lot, if not everything I said has sounded nitpicky as hell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's because I fucking love this movie. There's so much this film gets right, not only from a Spider-Man perspective, but from a filmmaking one too. And that's what I love most about it, is it's not just a film that comic book or Spider-Man fans can enjoy. I didn't have an expansive knowledge of Spider-Man prior to this movie. This movie made me love the character in a way that I wanted to go and seek it out myself. In just about every way, Spider-Man 2 took everything that was good or about Spider-Man 1 and cranked it up tenfold. It's funnier to the point where I was legitimately laughing out loud. Action better than ever, and boy, that train sequence, might I say, still holds up as one of the best, if not the best action sequence in any superhero movie. Nah, fuck it. In any movie, period. Yeah, I know that's gonna be controversial, especially with Endgame being released recently. And don't get me wrong, the action scenes were cool, but there's something about the blending of practical and visual effects and the smaller scale of this fight that connects with me more than the typical end-of-the-world fight scene. Peter hit some of the lowest points in his life in this movie, which made me sympathize even more with this version of the character than any version we've gotten since. MJ went from a whiny, annoying girl in the first movie to a moody and sometimes rude girl in this one. I can kind of forgive it. Her emotions aren't completely unjustified, just a little overdone to the point that when she acts out, all any viewer will think is, what the f***? MJ still is the weak link, but an improvement nonetheless. Doc Ock was a huge upgrade from the Green Goblin. They humanized the character within the first 25 to 30 minutes, and his motives were clearer or not so mustache twirling. Aunt May delivers some of the most heart-wrenching scenes in this movie. Do you guys remember this? Got man tears running all down my face. I don't want this to just be me comparing this film to Spider-Man 1, because one of the greatest things about this movie is that it's so good as a standalone film, even though it is a sequel. The best sequels are the ones that can stand alone without the previous movie even having to exist. The Dark Knight Knight, Godfather 2, The Winter Soldier, the list goes on, and it could be a whole video topic one day in the future. Spider-Man 2 truly is everything a film should be. Relatable and lovable characters, almost. Themes that audiences can get behind and understand. A kick-ass score that to this day is the best Spider-Man score ever put to screen, and I'd argue one of the best film scores of all time. The story is one that is small in scale but big in morals and values. It's meant to teach us all lessons about struggle and doing what's right. Look, none of this is new and nothing others haven't said before me, but if somehow you stumbled across my video without having seen the majestic beauty that is Spider-Man 2, please go and see it for yourself. Take a trip to a simpler time back in 2004 and discover the mastery Sam Raimi was able to capture on screen. Spider-Man 3 is not as bad as everyone says and actually has a lot of charm. Stay tuned for that video in 14 months from now.